There we go. Okay, I need to get to my notes. I have 3 pages of notes, which every time I tell people that I have notes, it always sounds like a lot because I write very big. And I draw and I squiggle all over the page. But I'm super excited to be here today. And each week, as one of the 4 of us begins, we always reflect back on the other 3 people who we are in partnership with creating and presenting these Mindset Mondays for everyone. And I think that one of these Mondays I might do my mindset on how we compare ourselves to one another. We have somebody who's just joined, and I'll have you mute yourself. But every time I do a Mindset Monday, then as soon as I'm done, I think like, what am I going to do next? And I didn't know. And then a week ago Saturday, I was at an event in Bloomington, and there was something that was presented during the event that I started doing, that I started incorporating. But it didn't click to me that might be something I'd present. And then over the weekend, oh my goodness, I got the same information, similar from, first of all, the person I heard from last Saturday was Ramasio Fulcher. And then over the weekend, Vision Lakiani from Mind Valley, and Sarah Centrella, who you have to check her out. And then last night, Will Smith. The 4 of them together have given me the information of what I'm going to be presenting today. And we always say that this is not our own, it's not necessarily our own thoughts. There's always, I believe, nuggets within the information that is our own thoughts. For instance, my nugget is that I believe goals, I have a different way of languaging goals. I think goals are promises to yourself. That's the way I look at goals. A lot of times people will say goals are they dreams, are they goals, or what are they? And are they plans? Everybody wants to give them another name. To me, goals, plans, dreams, whatever you want to call them, I call them promises to ourselves, which I'm going to wrap up at the end in regards to this. But what we're going to talk about today is our daily habits. Our daily habits. What you put into the recipe is going to identify and determine what you get. And we're all a recipe in the works. We're all a recipe. And so it's not too late to start adding new ingredients to your recipe. So one of the first things I got from Vishen Lakiani with Mind Valley, and he says that the first 60 minutes of your day matter. So for him, he schedules his day so that the first 60 minutes has a lot of what the first part of what I'm going to talk about. It's not everything. Again, all of this is a combination of the 4 people together. But what he talks about is one of his first things that he does is he checks his stats. Now, for him, what that means is he gets on a scale which is connected to his smartphone, and he gets his weight and his body fat percentage. Now, for me, I do check my stats. I don't own a scale, but I check my blood pressure, breath rate, and heart rate throughout the night, what has happened throughout the night. So that's what I do. I check my stats. I know someone, her name is Lisa Giammalva, And she was doing a class recently, and she talks about how it's not the first thing she does each day, but one of the first things that she does each day is banking. She does her banking, which I'm going to talk about that as we progress here as well. The next thing is, first of all, the first two steps, which the second step has 3 steps within it. The first part is it's your present time. So I have three sections. I hope I can get to them all. There's present time, there's future time, and then there is transformation. So present time, future time, and transformation, which between time there's always transformation. So first check your stats, whether you do it first or you don't, but that's some of the things, that's some of the advice that have been given. Next is, feelings and characteristics, I would say. The first thing you want to do is either sit in a quiet place or do this before you get out of bed. I myself do it before I get out of bed. And that is just start opening yourself up to kindness. Start opening yourself up to how can you bring kindness to people today. Just expand your heart. How can you be in service today? And you don't have to have answers when you ask questions. But the last time I spoke, I talked about how the quality of your questions identifies the quality of your life. And just start asking questions. How can I show kindness to people today? How will I be in service for someone today? How can I make a difference today? Just open up your thoughts and expand yourself. So if you're laying in bed and you have to go into work, just imagine yourself expanding from where you're at to your work, and that you're just pouring kindness within the building of where you work or where you're going, wherever it is that the people that you know that you're going to be with today, just imagine that you're already giving them kindness. So, and in doing that, it's like you're actually really even starting their day off to a good start, because you're already sending them kindness. And then the next thing after kindness, compassion, having compassion. The next is gratitude. And Vision says that scientists have witnessed, proven, shown that gratitude has the highest single correlation to well-being than any other characteristic. So one of the things that Ramasio talked about is that we would write down each day what we are feeling gratitude for. And some people will start their day by making a list of what they feel grateful for. Some people will end their day with what they feel grateful for. I do a progression throughout the day so that I am writing things down as they come to mind or as they happen. And that way it keeps me right in the moment. And then what I can do is at the end of the day reflect back and add more. So that's what works for me. But when you are in gratitude, being thankful for compassion that's been given to you, for fortune that has come upon you, and really just the little things in life, just whatever it is, when you are in gratitude for them, you receive more of them. Whatever you put focus on, you're going to get more of. I always say that watch what you're looking for because you'll find it. So if you're looking for flaws in someone, you're going to always see and find those flaws. But if you're looking at someone in gratitude and with compassion, and then also next forgiveness, then that's what you're going to that's what you're going to see in that person, and that's what you are going to receive. So the next is forgiveness. Forgive yourself and forgive others, and do not hold grudges. I know we've all heard this. I also know it's one of the three things that I'm giving an example of: compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness. It seems as though forgiveness is often the more difficult. And I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit more with Will Smith. But first, I want to share two quotes. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. And I know we've heard that quote in different forms. I really liked this particular one because I haven't heard it before. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. And so forgiveness is very constricting. If you think of compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness, forgiveness isn't constricting. The opposite of which would be holding a grudge. Holding a grudge is very constricting. So grudges seldom hurt anyone but the one bearing them. Holding a grudge, just think of it. We know that a grudge is not, it's bad feelings, it's bad mojo, and you're holding it. So think of a suitcase. Like a big, huge, heavy suitcase, and the longer you are holding that grudge, the bigger it gets, and it weighs you down. So again, feeling compassion, having gratitude, and giving forgiveness. Now, Will Smith talks about how our behavior, our discipline, which I'm going to give you more here, but how self-discipline is self-love. Discipline your behavior in order to love yourself more. So here's some examples. And he's talking to himself. I love you too much to let you worry about that right now. I love you too much to let you sit around and eat fat or get fat. I love you too much to let you eat that pizza. I know you're going to feel real good now. It'll taste delicious, but you're not going to like yourself tomorrow. And I love you too much to let that happen. I love you too much not to work for your future today. I love you too much to let other people's opinions get in the way of your goals, the promises to yourself. Next, we have create visualizations. And what you want to do, again, to do this at the beginning of the day is ultimate, but you can do it all day long. So you want to create visualizations of how you see things occurring that you know you're going to be doing that day. So, for instance, here in Minnesota, especially, I think all of Minnesota, it's very icy roads today. Many of the schools are closed. Even my son, his work is closed today, and he doesn't work at a school. it's ice roads. So someone today, before leaving the house, would sit down and take time to imagine their safe drive to work, and smooth driving, easy traffic. Everybody on the road is driving safely, and everybody around you is getting to work safely today. You can imagine getting that perfect parking spot. You can imagine having just the most productive conversation with a certain person that you know you're going to be in conversation with today. You can have just imagine yourself in front of the room as you're giving that presentation and how receptive everybody is, that they're all leaning forward, listening to your every word, and you just feel like you're in the zone. And not only are you saying everything that you've prepared, but you've got nuggets of wisdom that are popping into your head at the same time. And that at the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow, I mean, right now, this morning, imagine laying your head on your pillow and having that feeling of satisfaction at the end of the day, that it was such a good day, that all that occurred, and your heart just feels so big and so good because of it. So visualizations. Imagining what is ahead. And again, that kind of goes back to if you're imagining things to be difficult or not working, that's what you're going to get. But if you imagine things working so well, things being better than it was yesterday, then that's what you want to do. Imagine how things are going to go. And imagine even how they might be responding, how people might be responding back to you. Now, the last thing that vision suggests before you leave the house, or as you end that first 60 minutes, whichever way you want to do it. You can do it any time throughout the day. Let's say you do a visualization throughout the day, or you just stop in gratitude and write something on your gratitude list, or think of forgiveness or compassion, whatever step you may be working on throughout the day. Then stop and go into prayer. And give thanks. But what he actually does, I thought this was so cute. Well, first of all, when you go into prayer, and so he suggests at the end of the 60 minutes that you end your 60 minutes in prayer, and that your prayer can be to give gratitude. And for some people, we refer to praying to God, some people to the universe. For me, it's whatever is your higher power, whatever is something that feels of higher power to you. And your prayer might be in gratitude and thanks, or it may be asking for a blessing for the day. And perhaps that blessing is for you, or perhaps that blessing is for one of your fellow employees that you work with. But then at the end of the prayer, give a fist bump. Okay, we're in this. You know, like when that basketball team does their huddle and, go team, something like that. Give that fist bump to that higher power, to God. Okay, we're in this together. Let's go, right? I love that idea. So then the next is personal transformation. And this is something that you want to do every day and fit it into your day, whether that's in your first 60 minutes or sometime throughout the day. There's going to be personal growth. And this might be Drive Time University if you're driving to work, or it might be that you sit down in front of your laptop and you pull up a video to listen to inspiration or motivation for the day. It might be Mindset Monday right now, an audio recording, a webinar, but 30 minutes of personal growth each day. And one of the nuggets that I got from Sarah Centrella was she has a power model. Now, it doesn't change for her. She has a power model that goes until she doesn't need it anymore. But she, and she'll repeat it throughout the day. For instance, when she started this work, her power model was, I can do this, I am strong. And so every time she felt that she was going into a presentation, she was having difficulty, whatever the case may be, she wanted things for her children, she would say, I can do this, I am strong. I can do this, I am strong. That was her power model. Her power model is new now, but I bet you that power model still is in her thoughts on any given day. So personal growth, 30 minutes of personal growth throughout the day, and at least 30 minutes of physical activity. Now, that may be yoga. It could be going for a run. It could be going to the gym. One of the things that Vishen talked about, and it seems very interesting, is there's a new type of workout right now it's super slow, high intensity, and it's only 15 minutes per day. And it's very, very muscle building. And what do I want to say? The word escapes me. Our longevity, the longevity of our life, how long we live, the quality of our longevity is identified by the health of our muscles. And so this particular exercise, it's super slow, high intensity, 15 minutes. And it is very good for the muscles of your body, which increases your longevity, which all of that together is also going to make your brain stronger as well. And something that Ramasio talked about is that while you're doing this physical activity, he suggested that you're also repeating your affirmations, your mantras, your mottos, or practice something that you are working on. So if you have a presentation that you're working on, if whatever it might be, you could even work on that compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness. Reflect back on that. Any of those ideas, if you can interject them into your 30 minutes of physical fitness, it's just going to make the physical fitness that much more fun and easy. And you may also do 15 minutes now and 15 minutes later in the day, or whatever it might be. For myself, because I am sitting too often during the day, I am always thinking about getting up and moving. And so for me, I might do 30 minutes this morning, but I'm going to add more throughout the day in small increments. And then they always say, leaders are readers. And every leader I've ever heard from has said 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. Now, Vishen also talks about how if you learn how to speed read, you can actually read a full book in a week in 3.5 hours, which I thought was pretty cool. But I'm a highlighter. I write in all my books. Like, I can't borrow your book. Warning, warning. If you borrow a book to me, you've just given it to me, because I just have to highlight and write in all of the books, even storybooks I do. And so, again, the daily decisions that we make are going to shape our destiny. The choices we make, and that's the choices that we make in our thoughts and in our action. I'm going to end with just a couple notes from Sarah Centrella. The brain doesn't know the difference between what is truth and what is a lie. So watch how you're talking to yourself. And she has two exercises to help you. One she calls mental tennis. You know how when you go, I don't play tennis, but you've seen at a tennis court where they're just practicing and they've got that machine, that ball machine that's just spitting tennis balls out, and you just whack it, or even I think like whack-a-mole. But they're just like, and I know they're not whacking. Gosh, some tennis person would be cringing right now if they heard me say whack. But in my thoughts, this is the way I look at it. I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes. So let's say you have a thought that comes into you like, oh, I'm scared to do that. Oh, they're just going to say no. I hope I don't screw this up. If you have a thought like that comes into you, just remember that tennis machine and whack that thought, and whack it so it never returns again, okay? So you catch yourself with those negative thoughts and just imagine that like a ball coming at you, that thought, and just whack it away. If it doesn't get you closer to your goal, whack it. If you're having a bad day, check your thoughts. Hear that. If you're having a bad day, check your thoughts. Now, take inventory of those thoughts and whack the ones that are not serving you. And then last, she calls a power pause. Are you worrying about something? Now, worry and anxiety is future. It's something in the future. You're never worrying about something right now. Worry is always, you can be doing the worry right now, but it has something to do with the future. And so, as an example, she says, if you're worrying about your bills, then establish a time every day or every week that you do your bills. And then, let's say that it's Saturday morning at 9 a.m. you do your bills. Then any time that worry pops into your head, you just go, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., and you clear it away, okay? So whatever control the worry, it eliminates it by scheduling, staying on the schedule. So I hope that all of this has helped you. And again, remember that these goals, doing these steps even, make them promises to yourself. Ultimately, that's what we're doing, is we're making promises to ourselves or to that higher power that with God or universe, whatever it is. And so I hope that these are helpful to you. Take notes, listen to this again, take some portion of it and start implementing it if all of it seems too much. But until then, it's been 30 minutes, and next week, Monday, it will be Samantha on the call with us, and I hope you have a fantabulous week. Take care. Bye-bye now.